Beautiful people, what's going on? Welcome back for another Wednesday, a weekly, daily Wednesdays, where we sit back, relax, take that midweek break, talk about some of the fun things going on in the world of Linux, open source, whatever we find interesting. I'm going to be talking about something I found interesting this week and something that I thought I found interesting, but man, it beat me up a couple of times right at the beginning of the show. But I'm Vin Stone, that is Joe Bryan, over everybody watching us over on the YouTubes live at LWDW, 3 p.m. Eastern. EDT, I think it's EDT right now. Punch that into the computer box and it'll tell you and reticulate the splines for your time zone. But we got KDE Linux this week. We got OpenRGB's new home. We got fishy Ubuntu's and Ethernet on a Raspberry Pi Zero without any wires or hats. This is more like pants. That'll make sense if you stick around. Actually, you're just going to skip to the end of this. It'll make sense. So don't worry about it. Before we get started, we like to see what's going on, man. I had a small accomplishment just last night. Grinding. Now, a grind session for me is like playing a video game for a full hour these days. That's my time schedule. Like, I have to make extra time to get an hour in. But I've been grinding on Hollow Knight Silksong because for the past 2 days, I have been stuck at the end of Act 1. There is a boss at the end of Act 1, which is very similar, I would say the second skill check in Hollow Knight Silksong. I'm like, it is the get good or go home moment. And I'm stubborn. I'm not great at these games. I like the environment, the story, the exploration bits. And I'm okay with, I deal with the bosses. This one just kept wrecking me, Jill. Over and over. And it wasn't the boss fight so much. It was the run back to the boss, which requires learning a speed run strategy to make it where it only takes 30 to 35 seconds to get back to the boss instead of like a minute and a half.
Oh, okay.
That's how ridiculous it is. And I'm like, I understand why people are mad going on the internet. Like, I was mad enough to where I was like, boss name cheese strategy? I'm like, if there's just a way to bypass this, I'm good with it. And no, I just had to get good. The way I got good about it, I might post a bit later because I found not really a hack, but man, I might want to do a little bit of a write-up on it. So stay tuned on that front. I got a Zima. No, this is not 1999. I'm not talking about an alcoholic beverage. I'm talking about a Zima Blade. Yes, we talked about him on the show. x86 board. It's got a PCI Express slot on the side.
Yes.
They sent me this, the Zima beautiful people over there, along with a NAS kit. And they're like, hey, man, we got a NAS kit. We want to see if you want to take a look at it. And I'm like, all right, send it. So it's like that, all the stuff for NAS. They got some software that's supposed to work with this. It's got a cage. I'm going to be taking a look at that. Haven't had time to even open the box yet. I've been looking at it. I'm like, I'm going to get to you in a minute. Having a fun time with that. Looking forward to it and a bunch of other stuff going on. What about you, Joe Bryan? What's new in your world? You've been playing video games, I see.
Yes. So I've been still playing a lot of Genshin Impact. There's a new map that's opened up, but I'm not playing that one. I'm still playing the one from the summer. And I'm still trying to get all my teleport waypoints so I can transport to different parts of the map on the map from the summer. So once I do that, then I'm going to go over to the new map and explore that one. Because usually we only get one new extension of the map, a new land, like once a year. And so far we've had 2 this year. So that's great for Genshin Impact.
It's good to have something new to play around with and explore, isn't it?
It sure is, and it's a lot of fun. They do such an amazing job with Genshin, not the least of which is the music. It's amazing. Actually, there's a traveling orchestra that performs Genshin Impact music, the original orchestra that was used to compose it. They travel around the world, and I eventually want to get to one of their concerts because it's amazing. They're actually making their own instruments for the different lands, like for the areas that where you go underwater. They use instruments with glass and water, and it's really amazing what they did with that. They made an instrument out of water in a glass and tuned it perfectly for the soundtrack. It was awesome.
Good times.
Yeah. Oh, and also, yes, yesterday I had fun in Trackmania Stadium too, with all my friends and with Ven here on LGC. It was so much fun. It's been a while since I've been in, so that was very fun and exciting.
If you want to get into that, then go check it out at TM2C over here on YouTube. We got a channel. We do a live stream on Tuesdays and Fridays. You're welcome to join in. Everything you need to know, cleverly hidden down in the video description. Yeah. If you're on YouTube, you're going to have to figure out how to get to a video description. If you're on a mobile, oh boy, they try to hide it from you these days, but it is still there. Let's jump into it this week, everybody. KDE has been threatening to release a Linux distribution for about a year.
Yeah.
They got to build out. And it's bananas, isn't it? Look at it. Look at it. Literally bananas. At least kde.org/Linux. If you want to get your hands on it, help KDE build the next big thing. KDE Linux distro's first alpha. It's out. You can go play with it. There's a nice little write-up over here. There'll be a link to everything in the video description. It's using Arch Linux packages as its base, but it's definitely not Arch-based distro, at least according to this. And so what's going on with it? There's no package manager. Everything is in the base OS. Or you got to install it with a Flatpak, which I'm like, oh, it's one of those, huh? What do I mean by one of those? It's another immutable distro, like Silverblue, isn't it? Yeah, it is. But instead of GNOME, you get Plasma. So it's more like SteamOS, minus the Steam. Yeah, that's got that going on. Oh, but they do say that you can use system, what is it called? Systemd sysx to overlay your file. You know, if you want to like roll your own, it might break some stuff. And here's the thing, man. I'm just neutral about immutable distributions. I don't have any love for them. I don't have any hate for them. But it really genuinely reminds me of the like old days of like live CDs with some extra steps. I'm like, I remember this type of experience in just a different format. Is that a bad analogy? Maybe, but it works for me. So you're going to have to live with it. And, you know, immutable distros remind me a lot of like Chromebooks, you know, with that power wash feature of like, I broke something, kill it. And just reboot everything and make it work. And I do think immutable distributions absolutely make sense on like Steam machines.
Oh yeah, Steam Deck.
Steam Deck, things like that. It's when you get over to the desktop that I'm like, I personally don't think I could live with that. I had set up Silverblue at one point and had a bit of, I was like, this is how you have to install stuff. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Not for me, but it's there if you want to go play with it. Maybe a laptop, you know, if you want to hold a banana to your head, there's a great shot of a gentleman holding a banana to his head on the KDE.org Linux page where you can download this. We have a rotten banana on a laptop. Things to be, you know, very, very banana centric for this. Who's this for? Oh, if you got an older, you know, older than Turing, which, you know, Turing itself at this point is like a retro GPU, which doesn't have the GSP support open firmware, you're going to run into problems on those NVIDIA cards. But, you know, 30, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50 series, you know, the last 4 generations, if you don't have an antique, you can not worry about it, but you can get it up and running. Post-install shouldn't be a problem. And they're looking for people to come help out with the project if that's your thing. So yeah, I don't know how many immutable. The first one I was made aware of that we talked about on the show was Silverblue from, you know, the Fedora critters and Fedora adjacent critters, I should say. Cool idea. Like I like people doing stuff like this. I don't have a use for it, so I don't like to comment on it too much because I know some people are out there that are like, this fits my use case. It's brilliant. I love it. For me, for like getting into the system, tearing stuff out and replacing stuff constantly, or like setting up a system, you know, because you see things like, well, you can rework the base image and build it so it's like that. And I'm like, Yeah, but that's a lot. I can just install a Debian and just do it. And, I can do that on Debian too. But
Yeah.
maybe there's arguments. Here's what I'm really worried about. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments. This is how it works in my brain. This feels like this would be having a system that was very easy to just like blow away and bring back up after you've, it's a lot more difficult to like break one of these systems, which is good. Is very much in the, nuke and pave mentality of like, I broke my Windows install, wipe it and put everything back in.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, Joe?
Oh, well, I've been enjoying an immutable file system like on the Steam Deck. I've actually used that quite a bit. And yeah, it's not for everyone, but for just for playing around and gaming and using it as an entertainment device, it's great. And but I think this version of KDE Linux, it lets you change the etc file directory as well as home, which is really nice. And on the Steam Deck, it's a bit harder to install, debs and actually Arch files at all. It's a bit tricky. I have played with the system and installed classic Arch programs, but it's best to keep it at Flatpak. And so the new KDE Linux OS does not replace or cancel KDE Neon, which has faced its own development challenges. And KDE Linux is seen as a new platform for KDE to distribute its software. And like Ven said, Nate Graham is encouraging the Linux community to download and install the KDE Linux Testing Edition ISO on their machines and report bugs. And in our show notes, there's links to where you can report those bugs. So give it a spin. I need to install it myself to bare metal and give it a run. I'm looking forward to it.
How do I install GNOME?
GNOME.
How do I install GNOME?
Yeah. Well, I know on my Steam Deck, I eventually got Window Maker installed and a few of the other X window managers. So I'm sure it's doable.
Frustration. But you were just like, yeah, if you tinker with something enough, and I'm like, I know. And again, if like Linux is your hobby, man, yeah, okay, cool, go play with it. Like if you need Linux to like run your PCs to get work done, like maybe not. Cool. Wish them the best. We'll report on it as more develops. Now, OpenRGB is not a type of game mode that we play on Fridays.
No, it isn't.
In fact, what we play on Fridays is called RPG, but Joe called it RGB last night.
I did. So I wanted to give this a quick mention because it is one of my favorite applications on Linux and used on several of my computers to control RGB lighting. OpenRGB has a new home, and on Mastodon, they state, unfortunately, it seems #GitLab pages only allows 1 gigabyte of artifacts, which means we can't host downloads on https openrgb.org anymore, and GitLab doesn't allow uploading releases alongside the release tags. I've been wanting to migrate to #Codeberg for a while now and have been mirroring OpenRGB there for a year or so.
Are you seriously reading out the hashtags?
I did, yes, and I shouldn't have, but well, there we go.
Well, I mean, you read out the HTTPS.
Yeah, I did part of that, yes. So here's the last sentence again. I've been wanting to migrate to Codeberg for a while now and have been mirroring OpenRGB there for a year or so. But now I'm going to also post all the historical releases along with 1.0 RC2 there, as I can upload the binaries alongside the release tags. And that makes sense. And Codeberg is a great choice because it is open source, and a lot of my favorite other favorite projects are on Codeberg. So, and I've noticed a lot more people kind of migrating over there recently. So I just wanted to give a shout out to this. This is a big change for OpenRGB. They're moving to Codeberg, and I wanted to thank our patron and my friend MirPPC in chat for bringing this to our attention for sure. And so I have been happily running OpenRGB experimental as a deb on 2 computers to get my ASUS motherboard lighting working, and as an app image on my HP Omen computer. Both the app image and the .deb have been working flawlessly. And I have OpenRGB set to change all the RGB colors on my computer's brilliant pink when they boot to match my setup aesthetics. So I love OpenRGB. In fact, quite a few years ago, many years ago, when it first came out and we started talking about it here on LWDW, the developer reached out to us, and he said if we had any ideas or it found any bugs to let him know. And so, but this software has been working beautifully. And a few years ago, when I got my HP Omen computer and all its lights to work, I was just so excited. So now when it boots in Linux, it becomes a pretty, very brilliant pink, and I love that. And it works with all the ASUS.
Yeah. You can plug it into your laptop, your desktop, your accessories that it supports, and cut all that nonsense right off.
Aw, no, I love RGB but
you gotta keep in mind, Joe, there are people who don't.
Yeah.
So this is my communicate to them. By the way,
yes.
You can free yourself from that whole. If you get a laptop that you look at and you're disgusted, by the just blinky nonsense on it, this is a great tool to cut it off.
Well, I do like Unicorn Vomit as long as it's usually one color, or maybe 2. Sometimes I like doing pink and teal together. That's pretty, but static. I don't like the colors changing, just static and pretty.
I got no time for any of that. That's why I think it's a great tool. I find it very useful for a completely different reason. You can just, on your mouse, whatever it supports, just off, or change it to like ultra low if you can't cut it completely off where you don't even see it. Just make it like R or G or B. Like, this one's a G light. It's just green. Possibly gray. All right. Codeberg, that's the thing. If it works for you, like wherever, as long as I can find it online, when I search for it, you can be wherever you need to. I'm happy with it. Now, Canonical has made it easier to install NVIDIA CUDA on Ubuntu, which is a bit repetitive because CUDA is an NVIDIA property, so it couldn't be like AMD CUDA.
Yeah.
No.
Well, this is actually really huge news. Canonical is adding NVIDIA CUDA to the official Ubuntu repositories, making it much easier for users to install. And this change simplifies the current installation process, which previously required users to manually download a .deb file, install it, and import an GPG key. Now, for us users of Linux, hard to do, but for an artist coming over to Linux and wanting to use CUDA for rendering on Blender or DaVinci Resolve, this makes life a lot easier for them. And this is a result of a partnership between Canonical and NVIDIA to create, quote, turnkey AI solutions for the enterprise on Ubuntu.
So, yeah. All right. Don't make it a snap. I don't think they're going to make it a snap, but you know what? Make it a snap. I dare you. I dare you. I have no idea how things are packaged over there in Canonical end, nor do I care. So, good job, everybody. Now, let's talk about Raspberry Pis, single board computers, because I have been working on a project for an 11-month period. That's a while, isn't it? Yeah. What would take so long, Vin? Well, I've been working on this. Ethernet for the Raspberry Pi Zero. Why did it take so long? Well, I was using it for a thing. And I couldn't take the thing down in order to make a write-up about it. So if you got a Raspberry Pi 0 or 0W2, or just whatever the wire, there's a couple of different variants, but let's say the original Raspberry Pi 0 or Mark II. You'll love it. It's the little tiny one. The little tiny one. The original was 1 core. The Mark II had 4 cores, 512 megs of RAM. Super affordable. Set the standard for that.
Yeah.
Like $15. And you could do a lot with it. But if you had the wireless version, you basically needed the wireless version if you're going to do anything with it. The first one and second one had not great Wi-Fi. This is not a me problem. Search Raspberry Pi Zero Wi-Fi, slow or disconnect. And look at the hundreds of posts for both of those search queries. This is not I just happened to run into this, or I had Wi-Fi. No, you don't get to play that game. This has been reported since day one. The Wi-Fi on these boards is a little RNG. It works, but under sustained workloads, it will drop. It'll get slow. There's nothing you can do about it. It is as it is. I've never had a problem with it. Why? Because it's a $15 board. What are you expecting out of it? I'm not expecting greatness, but the project I needed it for required wired internet. It couldn't drop because it was running a server. What do you do? Well, the model I had, I didn't get the GPIO pins because I wasn't interested in that. I got the one without it, so I couldn't get a hat for it. I started looking around, and I came across this from Waveshare, man.
So cool.
Yeah, dude. This had everything I needed, man. We're taking a look on the video version. Go check it out on YouTube if you get a chance. Takes care of 2 problems. One, it doesn't use GPIO pins. It uses these pogo pins on the back. Yeah, your Pi Zero's got pogo pins, little squishy pins you can plug in on the back. And it gives you a full 10100 Ethernet, which is faster than the 35 megabit Wi-Fi chip on there. Did I mention it's 35 megabit Wi-Fi, by the way? And you get 3 full-sized Type A USB ports instead of that 1 micro USB port that you could use because the other one's occupied to give it power. And is it really a hat if it goes on the bottom? I don't know. You can call it pants if you want.
Yeah, pants, I think. Yeah.
Really
maybe underwear?
Call it feet. Call it a shoe.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
A shoe. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's not a hat. It goes on the bottom and it stacks together like that. No wires, no fuss. 4 screws. You're in and you're done. And it comes with a great case that I talk about in the video and in the write-up. I've been happy with it. I've been using it for, like I said, 11 months. I went and looked it up. I tested it out on Interfacing Linux. I gave it a full shakedown, tested Ethernet, like what's the sustained speed. And I gave it a real world test, SFTP transfers, and tested the USB out. I just shoved it full of USB accessories. I'm like, let's see what shows up. Everything, well, it was pretty good. You have to go check out the full thing. The only real complaint I had about it was getting this SD card out. You need tweezers, man. You need tweezers or fingernails. I keep my fingernails cut. You do that, man. That's the micro SD card's forever home. Then you're not going to be able to ever get it out because you got to take that out in order to get it out of the case. So it is there. Waveshare. You can find it on Interfacing Linux. There's a link to it, and I didn't say what the best part about this is because you get the board, you get the case, and everything you need to stick it together. It's $20.
Yeah.
This is $20.
Amazing.
$20 if you want it on Amazon. You want to get it from AliExpress, it's like $15, man. If you can wait on it. So highly recommend it. Great case, solid board. Been using it in the real world. Not had a problem with it. And something Jeff asked on the YouTube video, you can go find his comment, Jeff Geerling. He was like, man, this is dope if it only had a PoE. Well, turns out there's a PoE version too with power over Ethernet, which is an additional board under that. And a taller case, it's a bit ridiculous in the height on that, but It's pretty cool. And why would you want PoE? Well, then you can just power it over the Ethernoodle. Just plug it in and put it wherever you want. I didn't pick that one up because I have MikroTik hardware, which means I have MikroTik PoE. And I didn't want to run the RNG on whether or not that was going to work. So I just went with this one. Plus, it's, a few bucks cheaper. I've been really happy with it. Joe, you like the squishing. Jill, you saw that and you're like, that squishes. That's cool.
That was cute because Ven says because it has the pogo pins. So like he said, when you put it together, you got to engage the squishing. That was really funny. But it's true.
Squish mode has to be engaged or you can't screw it together.
Yeah, I think it's cool that they modeled the case off the official Raspberry Pi case too as well. So it's perfect. It's like a mini version of it.
Yeah, they did good.
Yeah.
That case, right next to, it's good enough to where I confused the two with the lids.
Yeah.
That same build probably came out of the same factory, let's be honest. But go check it out. Go watch the video. Maybe give it a like if you think it's worthwhile. And that's still a really cool device. It's been a couple of years. They haven't updated it. I'd really like to see a Raspberry Pi 03 with 4 cores is actually fine. I think it's got enough CPU. But the reason I don't use the Pi Zero, I think a lot of you, for the projects, is it's still got 512 megs of RAM, which is just too small in 2025 for a lot of stuff that I want to run with it. Because that means that I'm immediately having to run everything on swap, which means I'm either hitting the SD card or a USB drive for preferably a thumb drive or something like that, so I'm not burning up the SD card for a swap partition, which is even incredibly not fast because it's USB 2. So I would like a updated version of the Pi, because a bunch of people like Razda and Orange Pi, Banana Pi, they all make smaller rock chip or all-winter based versions of these boards, which do all that. Maybe we can get one that's just the right size to put an NVMe drive on. That'd be silly. I like silly, man. But yeah, the pogo pins, watch out for it. If you do buy the kit, go watch the video for the build guide, because when you first try to screw it together, you're like, that doesn't fit. And you're like, right. Skish.
Yeah, squish.
Takes care of the problem. Good to see. All right. So we talked about KDE Linux distro. Pretty cool. New home for OpenRGB. Dope. Canonical is adding the CUDA repo to that, which if it works for you, it's great. Cool. And Ethernet for Raspberry Pi Zero. Yeah. That's going to do it for this one. If you like the show, you want to support the show, and you're like, hey man, keep doing it. Patreon.com/Linux Gamecast. Join us over there. $1 a week, $500 a week, $10,000 a week. That'd be brilliant. Hop in our Discord, come say hi. Leave a comment on the YouTube, give it a like, and all the other fun things that you do. I'll be back on Friday for that racing game. It's not even a racing game. Jill will tell you just flat out, we spend more time in
it's
puzzle
physics
maps.
platforming. Yeah. 3D physics platforming and puzzles. It's so much fun.
We immediately, there was one map that we couldn't figure out how to get around it. And it's not a circle, people. These are, this is like Hot Wheels 80 stuff. We really have to brain on it. There's a bit of driving involved too. I don't want you to think it's all just, arcade stuff. But the driving is okay, we need to get the speed for that. How do we get around that to get enough momentum to jump that? Do we got to bounce off that? Immediately we went back. I left last night after the stream, and they just kept adding time to the map. They kept
adding, yeah.
I'm like, I gotta go, guys. I gotta go. So we'll see. We'll check in the Trackmanias and our Discord and see who gets around it first. And that last map, I definitely want to take a stab at. But that's gonna do it for this week, beautiful people. Yay. Thanks for joining us, watching us live. Let's roll some credits.
Okay, and thank our beautiful patrons, including our advisor, Artherin. Our executive producers, Barbara Ann Scott, Atomic12345, Drummer 7, our Chicago Kicks Mules level, Glorious Egg Roll, Basil Empty, our Sea Monsters, John, Dirty Dean, Dementor, System T, our Death Notes, Redisc, Mark, Benjamin, Oil of Hope, some of our chairlings, Mere PPC, Mr. Alert, and lots of peeps.
Beautiful people, have a great rest of your week. Get out there, make something awesome. As I always like to say when I end an Interfacing Linux video, because I mean it, man. Keep yourself occupied. Have some fun. You don't need a lot of money to do that. Keep the brain meats rolling, and we'll catch you next week. See ya.
Bye, everyone. Love you all.
Dun, dun, dun.